Since Leon Rose took over as the head of basketball operations for the New York Knicks, he has made home run move after home run move. But these two moves that he made are highway robbery. We're going to break that down on today's show. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We put out free, informative, entertaining content every day on your New York Knicks. And here at Chat Sports, we have multiple NBA channels, and we are in a subscriber battle for the month of August. Celtics today, we're kicking their butts. But right now, 76ers now, they're hot. They're making a lot of moves, and they are beating us. And I hate the Sixers, and I hate Philadelphia. If you want to take them down, subscribe to the channel. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. And I think when you talk about the moves that Leon Rose has made, you could classify stealing Jalen Brunson from the Dallas Mavericks as highway robbery. The trade that he made to acquire OG Anunoby by shipping out RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley and adding the biggest X factor for this team outside of Brunson, I would call that highway robbery. And on top of that, trading Cam Reddish and a late first-round pick for Josh Hart, gotta have Hart, is highway robbery. Leon Rose is on an elite run right now when it comes to making big-time moves to improve the New York Knicks. And this would be an easy video to make, but there are two other moves. We're going to talk about two that I think fly under the radar, and I would consider some of his best moves when you stack it up from pound for pound. Let's start with this one. Leon Rose and the Knicks pulled off highway robbery by signing Donte DiVincenzo back in the summer of 2023 during NBA free agency. I don't think there were a lot of expectations for when Donte came here, considering he signed just a 4-year, $46 million deal. Probably don't want to say only to that because $46 million is a lot of money, but it wasn't like they broke the bank for him. This was actually less money than the mid-level exception. Think about it like this. Donte DiVincenzo, this past year, took up just 8% of the salary cap. This upcoming year, it's going to be 8.1. The next year, 7.7%. And in 2026, 2027, when DiVincenzo is going to be in the prime of his career, he is going to be taking up just 7.3% of the salary cap. This was less than the mid-level exception. That's how good of a move that this was. And I think that even myself, who was a big DiVincenzo fan, shout out to the big Ragu, go watch the videos we did last summer. I was saying time and time again that the Knicks need to go out and make this move because of what he did last year, or I guess that was 2 years ago now, for the Golden State Warriors, and just the overall way that he plays basketball. He's a great shooter. He does all of the little screens. He's a great backdoor cutter. And he had a solid season for Golden State for his contract at that time, coming off a 2-year, $9 million deal, averaging 9.4 points per game, 3.5 assists, 1.3 steals, and shot 39.7% in the regular season. But it was in the playoffs where he struggled, where he shot just 37% from the field and 34% from three. And there were games that he was unplayable for Golden State. His scoring average was cut in half. Following the 2023 playoffs, the big Ragu's value was down. Nobody thought that any team was going to give him big money. No team gave him big money. The Golden State Warriors didn't want to bring him back. Would it have been complicated for them due to their salary cap situation? Absolutely. But the Knicks stole him from Golden State on a 4-year deal, less than $12 million per year. It's actually incredible. And then he came to the Knicks and he started coming off the bench. In those 18 games where he came off the bench, he was just okay, right? 8 points per game, less than 3 rebounds, less than 2 assists, and 38% from the floor while also shooting 38% from three. But when he became a starter, he took his game to another level. You see the stats on screen. Let's highlight some of his accomplishments as a Knick this year. He had 7 games of more than 31 points. He had 24 games of 5+3 mades. He had 10 games of more than 3 steals. He had 283 threes made this year. Most of the Knicks season ever, and third in the NBA. He knocked down a league-leading 240 catch-and-shoot three-pointers this past year. The only player in the league to make more than 180 catch-and-shoot threes and shoot above 40% on those were Stephen Curry and Donte DiVincenzo. He was also fifth in steals, only trailing SGA, Alex Caruso, De'Aaron Fox, and Kawhi Leonard. He did that. Amazing season, 17.7 points per game as a starter for the Knicks. And then he took his game to another level in the playoffs. Over the Knicks' final 8 postseason games, the Big Ragu averaged 22.8 points per game on 4.5 three-pointers made a night while shooting 47.4% from deep and 85.7% from the free throw line. And how could we forget what he did in Game 7 against the Indiana Pacers? Jalen Brunson goes down. Josh Hart dealing with a bad abdomen injury. OG Anunoby tried to play. He couldn't. Mitchell Robinson couldn't play. Julius Randle couldn't play. Bojan Bogdanovic couldn't play. But the Big Ragu went out there gunning and kept his team in the game and even put a fake comeback together, New York Knicks style. 39 points, shot 11 of 21 from the field, and 9 of 15 from downtown. If you don't understand how special all those statistics I just said were, and you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this. 3 players in NBA history have recorded 325-plus made threes and 250-plus assists in a season, regular and playoffs combined. Steph Curry, best point guard of all time, will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. James Harden will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. And Donte DiVincenzo. That is unreal. What he did for the Knicks was awesome. This team, when he became a starter, became a different type of contender. And the only thing I am worried about with DiVincenzo is, does a reduced role, with us assuming that Mikal Bridges goes into the starting lineup, and the starting lineup is Brunson, Bridges, OG, Randle, and Robinson, does DiVincenzo now coming off the bench change his production? That's one thing I'm worried about, but I'll say it on the other side of that coin. He's going to be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year, and this is someone that the Knicks stole. $11 million per year, less than 8% of the cap, and he was one of the best players in the NBA. When you're in a group with Curry and Harden, you're probably doing something pretty right. I've got another move that I would consider highway robbery. We'll call that highway robbery part 2. We'll talk about him and the move Leon Rose made in a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks, my favorite daily fantasy sports app. And you should get hooked up today by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS. And if you use that promo code CLNS, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. What is Prize Picks? It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or you pick less on their projected stat line. With football season here, you can get your lineups in right now for week 1. And this is the one I am rolling with. Give me the more on the yards for Devin Motors Singletary, running back for the New York Giants, 53.5. I think that Giants defense is going to show up and shut down Aaron Jones. Give me the less on his rushing yards at 67.5. If you want to play daily fantasy sports, do it with Prize Picks. They're the best in the game. I don't know what took me so long to start playing, and I'm glad I do. I play it every single day. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. No match your first deposit up to $100. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Pick 2+ players. Pick more. Pick less. Win big money. All right, highway robbery number 2 for Leon Rose and the Knicks. I almost feel bad doing this segment, and I feel bad for my guy, Deuce McBride. The Knicks signing Miles Deuce McBride to a 3-year, $13 million contract outside of Jalen Brunson and the $113 million discount he took, and maybe Donte DiVincenzo's contract, is the best value in the NBA. Think about it like this. Next year, in the great year of 2025-2026, that NBA season, Deuce McBride is making 2.3% of the New York Knicks salary cap. That is unreal. He's on a descending contract, too. The most you're ever going to pay him is what you already paid him this past year of $4.7 million. Goes down to 4.3 this year. and $3.9 million. When Deuce McBride is 25 and starting to scratch the surface of who he is going to be in this league, he will be taking up less than 2.5% of the cap. I feel bad for Deuce. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart have talked about it on their roommate show together. Deuce needs to get paid. Probably should fire his agent as well. But he's going to get a major payday in this league. And it unfortunately probably won't be for the Knicks because he's going to out-earn his contract and they're not going to be able to afford it. Think about it like this. We all know how Deuce played this year. We'll show stats. You all saw the impact he made in the playoffs. He was wearing a Westchester Knicks jersey this season for a couple of games. He was going back and forth from the NBA to the G League. He is the product of a Tom Thibodeau system. Grit, heart, culture, determination, and effort. Deuce is a product of hard work. If you put the work in, if you're about the grind, success will come. And I'm so proud of Deuce McBride because look at the growth throughout his career. Year one in the NBA, he played in 40 games, right? He averaged 2 points per game. He shot 29% from the field and 25% from three. Came back the next year, played in 64 games. Upped his point total to 3.5, shot 35.8% from the field and 29.9% from downtown. And then this year, upped his points to 8.3 points per game, shooting 41% from downtown. Deuce McBride shot 41% from three. That is unreal. He nearly doubled his rookie year three-point percentage. You see the regular season stats on screen this year, and the dude got better in the playoffs. He played 26.7 minutes per game. A guy that played in the G League this year, a guy that is going to be making up just 2% of the salary cap, played nearly 27 minutes per game for the Knicks in the playoffs, and he was productive. Some regular season milestones for Deuce. 6 games of more than 20-plus points. He had 12 games of more than 4 3-pointers made, and against the Raptors, he shot 9 of 14 from three. I don't think Deuce McBride on air his rookie or sophomore season in the NBA could shoot 9 of 14 from three in an open gym. And all he did was get better and better and better. Catch and shoot three-point percentage by the year in his career. From 27.8 to 32.1 to 42.2. That's work. That's reps. That's spending the night at the Westchester gym putting in that sweat and that grind. What about the pull-up three-point percentage? Because a lot of people think, oh, Deuce is just a guy that's going to catch it on the weak side and let it fly. Goes from 23% down to 18%, but then up to 37% this year on pull-up threes. Deuce McBride is a good shooter in this league, and we haven't even talked about the defensive side of the ball, which is his calling card in this league. How many times did we see Tom Thibodeau throw Miles McBride out there when he had to guard a scoring point guard? We saw it with De'Aaron Fox. We saw it with Stephen Curry. He could get the job done. And remember, he's just 23 years old. The craziest thing I've said in this video, and I scripted this damn show, is he played in the G League this year and then averaged 27 minutes a game in the playoffs. He's only going to get better because he's not satisfied. He knows he's underpaid, and there are still multiple ways for him to get better. He's already an elite defender. He's becoming a great shooter. I hope he doesn't get squeezed out of the rotation. We know Tibbs doesn't like to go deep into his minutes with different players, but Deuce McBride not only deserves to be a part of this rotation, he should be a major piece in the formula for the New York Knicks this year. Which one of these moves do you think was better, though? Because I was trying to decide for myself, and I don't know. You got a guy that averaged 18 points per game as a starter last year, making less than $11 million. You got a guy coming off the bench, playing 27 minutes in the playoffs, taking up 2% of the salary cap. I'm torn. You decide which one of these was a better move for Leon Rose. I just want to give a shout out to everybody that tuned into today's video. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon, subscribe, do all the things you do on a YouTube video, and hit me up on social media at @MarshallGreen_.